Alright, I'm going to go over the perks you can get on the armor, pets, and weapons. You can get them from on rare items, epic items, or legendary items, or tier 3, tier 4, tier 5 items. That's what they're called. Tier 5s have 3 perks in total, and they can also have a chance to get a rarer perk, which has a golden text on it. But we're going to go over all of the perks. If you don't know what a perk is, you get, like I said, when you get a drop from the tower, not a tower, or a dungeon, or a tower, or a road boss, any of those rarities or tiers, tier 3 and above, will get you a random perk. And how it works is that you can see how it says perk 1 resist burn, and there's a percent beside it. That's the chance of how strong that perk is, depending on what it is. So slowly we're going to explain into detail of all the perks and what they do. Some of them are pretty obvious, some of them not that obvious to understand, or they're not really explained that well. But we might have some examples here and there while we do this as well. So the first one we're going to do in alphabetical order, we have attack up. Attack up, it is basically just a damage increase depending on the percent. So you can see here we have perk 2 on the scythe, 3% more damage to every enemy in the game. It's not a lot, but 3%. So we have here for our scythe attack up. Next we have bonus gold. Bonus gold is the amount you get bonus gold depending on the percent you have. So for example, we have this 11%. So when we have this pet equipped, we'll have 11% more gold whenever we kill an enemy. That's how it works. Then we have bonus health regen. Health regen, you regen health every time you're out of combat. Also, you do regen some health when you are in combat, but not as much as out of combat. And it basically just gives you a little bit more extra health whenever you regen. So they're not that, the percent's not that big, 4% or 5%, 6% or 8%. It doesn't go that high, but it just gives you more health based on the percent of what you have it for. Next we have bonus pet food chance. This gives you more of a chance to get food from killing a mob in the game. I'm not sure if it gives you an extra chance to give you 1 extra. I think it's just more of a chance to get more food per kill. And usually you can find them on pets or on stuff, 8%, 10%, nothing too big most of the time. Next up, we have bonus Ult Charge. This one is a buff that gives you, charges your ult faster. I'm not sure if that, I know that your ult charges often, not often, but you can see here when you press your ult ability as a percent. I'm not sure if that matters if you have it, because usually when you get a kill with your ult, ult charging, you get percent up per kill, but you also get charged percent by just being AFK or just playing the game normally. So I'm not sure if it adds more per kill, or I know it for sure it charges up faster when you're doing nothing in the game. That's for sure. Next up we have bonus walk speed. Of course, this all just means it's pretty obvious. It gives you more movement speed depending on the percent you have. So the more percent you have, the faster you will walk in the game. So I don't really have a example here for bonus walk speed, but here we go, 3%. You won't see a big difference with 3%, that's for sure. Next up we have burn chance. Burn chance, when you attack, depending on the percent of the thing, it'll have a chance to burn a enemy or a mob. It's a pretty small chance usually, so 4% on the scythe here, to burn an enemy, and it'll burn them for 3 seconds only for their max health, I think. So we could do an example here with this crab here. It's a 4%, so who knows if we'll actually get it here. We should keep hitting him, and there we go. Well, it died, but it did apply the buff there, or the debuff. So do it again on this horse, and nothing. Which, look at that, it's a very low chance. And is it worth it? I'm not sure. Maybe early in the game, but it is pretty weak. And when it's a low chance, it's a low chance. So there you go. Well, we saw it apply for a second there, so it hits for 3 seconds. It's not that great, but maybe early on it's alright. But for bosses, maybe because you're hitting them forever. But I don't know. Next up, we have crit stack. Now, crit stack, it's a bit weird. This one still don't understand fully, but all I know is that when you hit a mob, it grants an extra crit chance. So you have a higher chance to crit, and it'll stack 5 times the buff. So, and then the percent what the percent means for crit stack is 11% chance to get the stack. So here we have 11% crit stack, and so now if we attack an enemy, every time we attack enemy, we'll get a stack to crit more. I'm not sure where that buff shows. Hard to say if I'm stacking or not. I don't actually know. It's like invisible. There's no actual debuff that tells me that I'm actually getting crit stacks here. But all I know is that the more we hit, the more stacks we get, and the higher chance we'll crit. Probably better on dual wielder, even though dual wielder does have that ability, max tempo, to give you more crit. Well, more crit here. So get stacks by hitting enemies, and then that stacks will give you more of a chance to crit the enemy. So that's how crit stack works. Next we have damage reduction. This is obviously just from the name, the higher the percent you have, the more damage you resist or don't take anymore or reduce. I do have a armor here. It's kind of hard to test out, but the percent is pretty low, so it's not like you're going to be taking a lot of damage anyways, so or reducing that much damage to 3%. So that's that. Next we have HP up. This is a percent bonus for your HP. So we have an example here. We have 42k base health here. So when we equip this, we have 12%. So normally we would get maybe 45k health in total, or 47k. But now when we equip it, we check our health, we have 52k, because the 12% gives us a lot more. If we equip this is a 43 base health. We equip it, we only have 47k here. So it is a huge increase if you have, and it probably stacks with multiple armor. So it's not a bad buff if you're trying to be a tank in the game or have DPS and you just need extra health for that. Next up we have life drain. Now life drain is alright. Every time you attack, it's like lifesteal for any game. Every time you attack, you'll get life back. We have 5% life drain here. It is very, very not noticeable at all. So we'll attack this horse right here real quick, and you'll see how much health we regen from attacking. So here, start attacking. We are gaining health per hit, but it is not a lot. Here we do it again. There you can pretty much guess how much we're gaining back. It's not a lot. I'm not sure if abilities give you more health. It's hard to test on. I guess, yeah. Your abilities also proc it, so maybe it's alright with a demon class, as you have a lifesteal ability, so stacks pretty much with that. Next up we have 3 that's pretty similar. We have resist burn, resist frost, and resist poison. All that does is removes the chance of getting the status. So if you have resist burn, it removes a chance of getting burn status. If you have resist frost, you have a chance to not get frozen status, and if you have resist poison, you have a chance to get not getting poisoned. So the percents are pretty high. So if you have, like, let's say resist burn here with a 45% chance to not get burned, doesn't mean that if you get burned you take 45% less damage for getting burned. It's just you don't have a chance to get burned in general. So for a good example to tell about debuff is that whenever if you're playing Elementalist Mage and you throw a fireball, that's what the burn status is. You're burning the enemy. So if you get burned by like a magma goo, whatever they're called, you won't get burned. You have a low chance of getting burned. So it's not bad, depending on if you min-max the dungeons and stuff. Next up we have resist knockdown. Resist knockdown, as it sounds like, you have a chance to not get knocked down. So any attack the enemy has, you won't get that knocked down, and you won't get like stunned for like 5 seconds. You just take damage instead of actually getting the debuff. So this mainly applies to the golems that do knock you down in their slam attack, and some bosses also knock you down, like the Mama Quillodile, whatever it is. I don't remember. So, and you can get pretty high chance to get very big range. So we have 80% resist knockdown, which is pretty high, to be honest there. Next up, we have rough skin. A rough skin is like, it basically reflects damage back to the enemy. It's very not noticeable, and it's very, very low percents for rough skin. So we have an example here of 8% chance with this armor here. We'll try our best to see if we'll proc it here, but it's only 8% chance per attack to get rough skin proc, but all it does is it reflects the damage back to the enemy. So we'll try our best to see if it will happen here, but I don't think it will happen. Oh, well, never mind. There it goes. And it's dead. There we go. That's the perfect example. Rough skin, 8k damage, exactly the same amount of damage. Just one-shots that horse. Poor horse. Alright, next up, we have Shifted Aggro. Shifted Aggro is good for tanks. What Shifted Aggro does is that it can be a positive percent or a negative percent. Here we have a positive 21% Shifted Aggro, and here we have a negative 17% Shifted Aggro. When it's positive, enemies will most likely target you, and when it's negative, enemies will not target you that often. So when you're in a group of people, as a tank, you want to, obviously have more Shifted Aggro, as you want to not have your DPS take more damage to survive longer in battles. And if you don't want to take damage or get aggro, then you want to have negative Shifted Aggro when you're a healer or a DPS. So that's pretty much how it works. And lastly, for our normal perks that you can get, that you can get on tier 1s, not tier 1s, tier 3s and tier 4s and tier 5s. We have Untouchable. This one is a interesting perk. This one give you the chance of not getting hit. So here we have our armor, 16% chance. So we have a chance to take damage but not take damage, or get hit but not take damage, basically. So here we try it. Oh, we just got a crit. Wow. So we can see if we get hit or not. Let's take a look. If we get lucky. There we go. And 16% chance, or was it 18% chance? I forgot already. 16% chance not to get hit. So that is Untouchable. Yes, 16% chance not to get hit by the enemy there, which is not bad. Similar, I don't know what's better, Rough Skin or Untouchable. One reflects damage, but I think Rough Skin has a lower chance to happen, and Untouchable you can find a higher percent chance. So it's all random percent to a certain range, but that's all the normal perks you can get. Now with tier 5 perks. Tier 5 perks can only be found on tier 5 weapons, which are legendaries. They can be found on the pets, tier 5, or the weapons that are tier 5. So we have Boss of Boss on the weapon and a pet here, and then we have also Elite Boss. There are other ones here. These ones pretty much, once you get them, you can read them in game. They do tell you what they do in the game, and they will have a yellow text as well. So let's go over them. So we have Boss of the Boss here, 11%. This one has 22%, so we can get them a lot higher and do a lot more damage. So Boss of the Boss, all that does is that we do more damage to bosses and mini bosses. What defines a mini boss and boss is the health bar that spawns on top of your screen and has a name, unique names, and have the little animation to signify that they're a boss when you first meet them, pretty much. Next we have Elite's Boss, which is we do more damage to elite mobs. Those elite mobs can spawn in dungeons or against world bosses. They're the purple variant. Those usually have more health and more damage. But when you kill them, you get more XP and more gold and pet food drops from when you kill them. But they are pretty good to farm in the dungeons. But this lets you do more damage based on the percent. Next we have, I've never seen these perks in the game, but they do exist. We have Fortress. This one is a weird one, but maybe very good for tanks. You get negative 20% movement speed, but more HP. I'm not sure the percent on you get. We know that we have HP up with 12% HP up here. I'm sure with that Fortress, you might get like more like 20% or 25% more HP. So that's pretty good for tanks. Next, we have Mob Boss, which is just extra damage to regular mobs. So anything you find in a dungeon that's not a elite or a boss, you'll just do more damage in general. So it's probably better than damage up or attack up, probably a higher percent since it's more of a rarer perk to get. And lastly, we have Opening Strike. This one's a bit weird, but this one mainly works best with burst classes. What this one does is that you do extra damage to enemies that are above 75% HP, which is really good, like I said, for really good for burst classes. So for example, here we have our demon class, and our F ability is pretty strong in bursting. So if they were max health, you see if I press F here on his horse, we do more than half their health in one attack there. So if we had Opening Strike, we could probably one-shot it with this thing, depending on if you even crit it as well. So it's really good if you're playing like dual wielder or like, I don't know, a mage class. You're not going to do that much damage in one ability. Maybe you can, I don't know. But if you have it's any burst ability, you'll amplify your damage by quite a bit, since you're hitting them at 100% health. You'll do more damage on the first hit. So that's pretty good with that. But that's pretty much everything there. We've explained all the perks there. Video might get outdated if they remove perks or they change perks or buff or nerf stuff or add more. So take as much information as you can. It might change in the future, but that's pretty much all I could show. All the perks I have and we talk about. So it's a pretty long video, but I think it's pretty informal of if you need to know some extra information. All the information I found, this is from posted on their Discord server for World 0, which things might change in the future, but this is the information I have, and yep, hopefully you enjoyed this. I can answer more questions or more detail if you have more questions about perks, and yep, that is it for this one.